to episode 6, Impertinent Insights. We're gonna be having a psychotic break over episode 6 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians on Disney Plus, where it starts. This train wreck becomes. We're just gonna keep getting worse from here. So this episode is gonna start off. After its recap, we're just going to jump right in, no explanation, into a scene of what we only know as Percy's headmaster from Yancey Academy.
Yep, old Asian man.
Talking in some sinister way. If you've read the book, you know that this is somehow in relation to the big bad. It's Kronos, but we don't quite have that revealed yet. Although, in reading the book, if you have any kind of background in Greek mythology, you already kind of know that. It's just waiting for the characters, like, when are they going to figure it out? Don't go into that room kind of thing. So the headmaster is talking to someone off camera, kind of like the dream in the book. The dream sequence goes, Percy has some weird school experience and then drops into the Tartarus setting where a disembodied voice of all evil is talking to another voice that Percy finds familiar and kind of out of his visual range. And the voice is berating that person and then becomes aware of Percy's presence and is mainly like, why are you here? How'd you get here? Go away. In the show, they have it like some weird Palpatine Anakin dynamic where the bad guy is like, you will do better, or I've got another hero in waiting to do your job for you. Isn't that right, Percy? Is essentially what's going on there. It's a unexplainable, weird dynamic, especially given that leading up to this, the dreams have been portraying an old, cloaked figure with a lantern, and now we're claiming Hades is the headmaster from the old academy. None of it's tracking. It's all over the place.
Really weird decision making on just everyone's part.
Everything about it, just odd. It's not lining up in any way. I mean, even given a whole series to fully explain, and I doubt it. This was a lazy mistake of people that aren't talking to each other. Without making that last a debate all night, Ian, you want to cover the next scene of this mess?
Love to. So Percy wakes up from this dream. They're in the trailer, and Annabeth is ready to send an iris message. An iris message is when you create a rainbow, make an offering to Iris, the goddess, and then you can. It's essentially the ancient Greek version of a cell phone or a FaceTime. In the book, this was explained. They do this way early on. Percy has a conversation with Luke by himself. This is when we get a little bit of hints about Grover and failing his first assignment to get demigods back, but you don't really get a whole lot more than that. He just says, tell Grover that it'll be different this time, and no one's gonna die like Talia did. In the show, again, not really anything of note. They just quick exchanges, that awful comment from Luke with about, oh, when did you guys become an old married couple? They tell Luke that they believe that Clarice stole the bolt and did all that. And then Percy goes to tell him that they're on their way to a casino to meet Hermes. But before he can say that, Annabeth hangs up, turns the crystal they're using, and disconnects it. For some reason, you can't ask Luke about his dad. It'll upset him. What? Why? It all just comes out of nowhere. And even when we meet Hermes later in the episode, that all builds to nothing. We get some explanation from Grover, kind of hinting at him being able to speak with animals directly. Although again, they don't show it, they just kind of vaguely hint at it. He just says, oh, they're traffickers, they're not nice people, yada yada yada. So the book does all of this, as it does with everything, infinitely better. They're in the trailer, they're heading to Las Vegas. We get the Grover, Talia, and Annabeth making their way to camp backstory. We also cover the necklaces that, if you've watched the show, everyone has, that has different colored beads on them. Some have more than others. What are they? Literally, spoiler alert, never touched on in the show, even though they're quite prominent amongst every single camper. Even Percy has a necklace on that just has nothing on it. We get backstory with Annabeth and her dad and that turbulent relationship. And Percy has to kind of goad it out of her a little bit. But Annabeth opens up to Percy and shares this deeply personal and emotional story. character building a relationship between the characters. They go back and forth about it. Annabeth has a class ring on her necklace, so Percy deduces like, oh, that's your father's class ring. And she goes, yeah, he sent it to me at camp a while ago. Like, he still loves me. He reaches out every now and again, but I just don't feel like talking to him. They then go on to discuss, Percy asks, like, what's going to happen if this war with the gods breaks out? Is it going to be Athena versus Poseidon again? And we get this nice little exchange that shows that while they started out kind of button heads a little bit, they're mostly just acquaintances at this point. We get this nice little exchange where Percy asks what happens if a war breaks out, and Annabeth says, I don't know what my mom will do. I just know I'll fight beside you. Percy asks why, and she says, because you're my friend, seaweed brain. Just nice, close, perfect character development that makes sense. Doesn't come out of nowhere, and it's not unearned like everything that happens between the characters in the show. In the books, this is when Percy nods off, has his dream. Shortly after this, he wakes up from it, the truck is stopped, they're about to unload it. We then learn that Percy can talk to horses, because a zebra says, free me, Lord, help me, like, you gotta get us out of here. And Percy's just kind of dumbstruck by the fact that he can understand this horse talking to him, but the antelope and the lion that are also being trafficked by these people, he can't understand them, he can't hear them talking.
Right, because Grover is conversing with them, and Percy's like, yeah, I got most of that from those zebra, but why can't I must, oh, that's right, Poseidon, horses.
Yep, so again, just cool little, and unsurprisingly, talking to horses will be important later. Not in this show, and, you know, later books, later seasons, we'll see if they make it.
Left out entirely, though. It's going to be annoying.
It's going to be annoying. It's going to be weird how they work that back into season 2. This is also where the chapter that the episode is based on and shares a name with gets that name. We take a zebra to Vegas. In the show, unless you slow it down and really look for it, you don't even see a zebra. Whereas in the book, it's very prominent and important. Show off Percy's power. What little bit, because this is covered in a few pages, what little bit that they skip over, that they shoehorned in earlier episodes, is just really important for building the relationship between these two characters, because in the end, when they're all close and everything, it just makes sense. Because they've been through stuff, they've shared some deep emotional things with each other. It just works. They then just kind of wander through Vegas, turn down a dead-end alley, end up at the Lotus Hotel. In the book, the only reason that they go into the Lotus Hotel is because they're hot, they're tired, they are hungry. So when they walk by and the doors open up for them, they feel the air conditioning. They're like, let's just dip in here for a minute. Let's cool off. Let's rest. Maybe we find something to eat. We got at least 20 bucks on us. So let's go from there. And then just cool things ensue. But I will allow Nathan to take it from here and let us know how that casino scene in the show starts out and where it goes from there.
A reoccurring theme in the book is they're always hungry. I mean, they're traveling across the country and they're a bunch of 12-year-olds. You know, they're always hungry and tired. They're dirty. They obviously will take up a too good to be true offer from this Las Vegas casino hotel that offers them a ton of free stuff and a free room and comped everything, and the perks just keep coming, so it sounds great. In the in the show, they immediately walk in, and based off the name of the hotel, it's like they read the book. I believe Annabeth calls it out as this is the Lotus Hotel, like the lotus from mythology. You know, you don't eat anything, don't drink anything, or we will lose our memories.
Out of here 10 seconds later.
I was kidding. Wait, hang on. Your mom told you all the stories. Did she read you the Odyssey? Odysseus lands on a beach. There's these guys who've forgotten where they came from, forgot everything that was important to them. And they got that way because they ate
the lotus flowers.
We go in there and then forget everything. That would be bad on a number of levels.
Just don't eat anything.
Wait, why were you looking at me when you said that?
So you lose all that fun of them finding it out the hard way. You know, be careful of things too good to be true kind of life lesson there. from the book. In the show, it's they're clairvoyant. They've read the book, so they already know. So the reason for them coming to Lotus, by the way, in the show, was that Ares told them to go there to meet Hermes, the god of travelers, thieves, the messenger god, because he knows a way to get to the underworld. In the book, that's
Nope.
just no. I'll leave it at that. That's a lot to go into, but no. But in the show, they're going to find Hermes, and they want to meet Hermes. Hermes is there. They find him. After they split up, again, Grover's going to go off on his own, and Annabeth and Percy stick around each other for some non-existent dynamic that might try to exist. I don't know why they do that. They go talk to Hermes. Hermes has a lot to say. They convince him to talk to them, and he gives them this spiel that, if you look into enough interviews with the creator of this story, you'll realize was just kind of shoehorned in there by him and his wife for some projected parental regrets, feelings. I don't know. It's something projected onto the story that never existed and doesn't need to be there. It didn't add anything. In fact, it just stole screen time from valuable parts of the story. Again. But he
Play a little
We're
bit.
friends of Luke's.
Yeah. Okay. Time and space are easy, kids. Parenting is something else entirely.
I saw you argue. I heard what he said. That what happened to his mom was your fault. That it was all your fault. That he hated you. Help us retrieve Zeus's master bolt from Hades, and he'll see that you care.
You don't want my help. Trust me. I don't get involved anymore. It's just not worth it. I'm sorry.
And this was all just a waste of time.
It was your father who warned me to stay away. Said it was awful watching you struggle and feel powerless to stop it. But that sometimes that's what parenting is.
The Hermes lines consisted of parenting sentiments and speculations, and at the very end of it, a warning of sorts, which you don't realize until, it's just him taking a peek at his watch and like saying some foreboding statement like, oh, you don't have enough time to, I don't know. I don't really care. It was dumb. Percy goes and finds Annabeth, and Annabeth's staring at the entrance for some reason. She's just staring out at the door. And Percy tells her like, oh, we got to get out of here. It's been 5 days. How does he know it's been 5 days? How does he know? We assume, it has to have, like everything else that matters in this show, it happened off screen. He figured out that there's a time dilating effect in the Lotus Casino, and we gotta go. And before I glance over it, because I almost did, Grover's little side quest during all this is meeting some ridiculous satyr that doesn't matter, never mattered in the book, never existed that I know of. Doesn't matter to this story, except to put Grover in a VR set. He meets this old satyr. He's like, oh, what are you doing here? Uncle Ferdinand, I found him. Medusa killed him. And this Augustus satyr is like, oh yeah, Pan, I've been looking for Pan. I found him. He's over here. The whole exchange was pretty much just to put Grover in a VR set and kind of simulate from the books where all the kids were getting lost in these games and the ambiance of the arcade. You had Annabeth getting too distracted by a 3D modeling architecture game because that's her character. She's all about it. Except in the show, this Annabeth is a pickpocket.
Yep, multi-talented.
That's how they say it. Yeah, draw your own conclusions there. But yeah, Grover's getting lost in a VR set, looking for Pan is what he says. Whatever. Percy and Annabeth find him. It doesn't matter. They convince him to leave even though he's lost his memories because he was alone. They gotta go find the vehicle of the messenger of whatever. They gotta go to the parking garage. Ian, you want to take away their nonsense of that?
So before they find Hermes, Annabeth and Percy go off on their own. Percy goes off on his own. We just get more exposition info dumping because the writers are lazy or stupid or both. But we just get Annabeth info dumping on Percy about Hermes and Luke's kind of tumultuous relationship. Luke blaming Hermes for whatever may have happened to his mother. Again, we're just overly humanizing these gods, where Annabeth says, I think Hermes would do anything to win Luke back. Just unnecessary humanization of immortal forces of nature.
Speaking of forces of nature, I also forgot to mention in the show, Hermes is outside of time and space somehow. So
Yeah.
he's arguably the most powerful being in existence now. Okay.
Yep.
He's a minor god, but okay.
Yeah, he's a minor god, but he exists outside of time and space, which is, I mean, it kind of makes you untouchable, unbelievably overpowered. What a weird thing to throw in there.
And to be clear, the book version of Hermes, and mythologically speaking too, from my knowledge, is he's a god of travelers, like speed and messengers. So those things combined makes him the messenger of the gods, because he knows all the ways and he can get through them quickly.
He just moves fast and carries things quickly.
Because the implications of outside time and space are just too much to go into right now, but
Insane.
he knows everything and he is everything, and he's just, no, stupid line.
So another thing that I feel like we didn't touch super great on is the fact that, you know, Hermes does his thing, cut to Annabeth at the front, and then that's where Percy says time moves weird and time moves faster in here. They pump the lotus flowers into the air.
Ah, right.
Just all this stuff happens off screen. You're left to assume that Hermes explains it to him.
Left to assume is the nature of the show is either overindulge in certain things or just leave it alone and hope people understand.
So Annabeth's just standing out staring at the entrance, watching people come in. Who knows why? Percy runs up to her and just says, "We've been in here for 4 or 5 days. Time moves weird in here. Every couple seconds is minutes out there." He then just, again, more info dump, just dumps on us like they pump the Lotus stuff into the air so you don't even have to eat or drink anything. You're left to just assume that Hermes probably told him all of this, even though, you know, we don't see it for whatever reason. You're just left to assume these things, like a handful of things in the show that would have been way better off just being shown and just played out.
And by left to assume, we also mean that they are leaving us to assume that Hermes allowed this all to take place.
Yeah, that's another thing. You would think that you would think that he would want to help prevent this war with the gods and be like, "Hey, no, yeah, so just so you know, time moves fast. I'm not going to help you with the secret entrance to the underworld, so you might want to just get out of here." But yeah, so that's when we find out Annabeth's pickpocket got his keys.
It's an odd character trait to add to Annabeth's character.
Yeah, it's definitely a decision that was made, possibly a poor one.
Wait, what?
Got invisible. Pick his pocket.
You picked Hermes' pocket?
I'm multi-talented. Now, all we have to do is find this car, and it'll instantly
This is when we start seeing effects of the Lotus on these two. Oh, do you remember Grover? Oh, there's that satyr Augustus coming down. They approach him. They could have done something cool with this. It just goes nowhere. They approach the satyr and say, "Hey, we're looking for our friend who's a satyr. Have you seen him?" And then for some reason, this guy just takes off running. Just takes off running through this casino, jumping over things, wrecking stuff. Why? Why is he so scared? Again, none of this was in the book, so maybe expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, Grover approached him in almost the same manner, and he was very welcoming to a conversation.
Yeah. So just a strange choice to have this man run away. I mean, for me, I assumed, like, did he do something to Grover? Like, is he working with a monster that's inside this casino? Like, is Grover trapped? Are they going to have to get him out? Nope. He's just playing a VR game.
Yeah, nothing cool they added because, it was, like Ian said, he runs away and then he crashes through a game and then Percy tackles him and then the scene cuts and the next thing is they find Grover playing a game.
And then of course Grover has no idea what's going on, has no idea, he's forgotten everything. Have we met before? They drag him to the parking garage where they look for the god of travelers' car. They could have done something absolutely sick here at 15 million, up to 15 million an episode for the budget. You could have done something ridiculous. A Bentley, a Rolls Royce, even that dog shit Lamborghini SUV, the Yaris. Could have done something cool as hell with it. Nope. It's a Ford Crown Victoria taxi.
They find this silly Crown Vic, this taxi cab, and they immediately walk up to it. Then they find this note that's Hermes saying, "I know you picked my pocket, but here you go anyway." So that's fun. pickpocketing the god of thieves, which she does call out to the show's credit, but also, why do you even try that? That's another reason they dumb down everyone's respect of these gods, is you would not try to steal from the god of thieves. No. That just doesn't make sense. That's not gonna work.
Nope.
Right. So they hop in this cab for a 2 or so minute screen time event of, hey, what would it be like if a 12-year-old tried to drive? And yeah, so Percy just wrecks this car a couple times, and then their whole thing is, we have to get out on a road to be transported instantaneously wherever we want.
Well, see, that's the annoying part. Annabeth says in the casino, she holds up the keys like, we need to find his car, because when we find it, it will instantly transport us wherever we want to go. And then they spend a few minutes crashing the car through the parking garage, and then once they get out on the road and they're about to get T-boned by a semi, now they're in Santa Monica.
That could be a funny moment, and there was there wasn't zero enjoyment to be had from watching that, but it was, again, just this minor part in the book, a simple side bit on their way to the main storyline, and the writers turned it into an entire episode about really nothing. They just added a lot of nonsense and parental values and something in Grover's. Again, Grover likes to go off on his own in this show for some reason, and we follow him through the entire thing. It makes no sense.
When this whole scenario in the book is a handful or two of pages where they're told they have a free room, free food, like, here's your room key, all the games are free, have fun. And of course, a bunch of exhausted 12-year-olds are like, sick, let's go check out this room, let's get some rest, let's get a shower, and then let's go play some games and burn an hour or two, because we have several days to make it from Las Vegas to Los Angeles. So we have time to just cut loose, as children would when they're presented with a whole building full of free video games. And then they also take away Percy slowly figuring out that something's not right, because he meets a kid and the kid says things like groovy, bad vibes. He says bad vibes before all the vibe stuff came back into colloquialisms, because this was written in 2006. So Percy deduces that something's not right. He finds out that the kid thinks it's 1977, and then Percy's like, I gotta find Grover and Annabeth, and we gotta get out of here. And then that's when they put together the whole Lotus thing, rather than it just being info dumped at the beginning and lazy.
The employees were trying to entice them to stay with, we just added a whole new floor of games to our platinum members, and here's the card for you for free. And they're people trying to entice them to stay. In this one, in the show, they just walk out the back door into the parking garage.
They get to Santa Monica, and again, just all sense of wonder and mystery is just removed.
I gotta go find my dad.
Yeah, I gotta go see my dad, which that's a whole thing. In the book, they hail a taxi, gets them to Santa Monica, and they're just walking on the beach like, okay, well, now what do we do? Like, we have a day to get this quest done. We don't know where the underworld's at. We're just lost. We don't know what to do. They're walking down the beach. Percy then just wades out into the ocean while Grover and Annabeth are kind of freaking out. That's a little bit of an overstatement, but they're like, Percy, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? Get back here. And he just walks out and disappears into the ocean. And he just keeps walking. In the show, the car, for some reason, teleports onto the beach. Percy just makes his way out into the water and then encounters the sea spirit. In the book, after he has his little psychological break and wades out into the water, we just get more cool, magical world building, where a shark comes up to him and just kind of nuzzles him. The shark's like a puppy to this kid.
It's also very dark. He can't see, but he can, he's aware of everything that's in the ocean because he just has that ability.
Right. So the shark's like, hey, buddy, grab onto this fin. Let's go. So he grabs onto the fin, swims out into just deep ocean. And then off in the distance, he sees a glowing light. And what is this glowing light? It's the sea spirit, but it's riding a giant seahorse. Makes perfect sense. That's awesome. Then they have their discussion. Again, in the show, for some reason, Percy believes that he's going to meet his dad, even though from the source material, gods are not allowed to directly intervene on quests or anything like this. That's the whole reason these demigods get quests and go off to do things in the first place.
Well, the conversation is, as it goes, it doesn't matter. He ends up with pearls, the main point being that this silly sea creature reveals to the audience that the deadline that this entire story is based on has passed. And when we saw this, I mean, I have a very nice TV, and I just about broke it.
Yeah, that's true. So you would think that this deadline is very important. They need to return the Master Bolt before the deadline to prevent a war with the gods, because that has the potential to just apocalypse the planet. So you would think that they would have the date marked and just keep track of it as they, but no. Percy, we assume, is told by Hermes that they've been in there somewhere like 4 or 5 days. You would think that they would quickly do the math and be like, shit, the deadline's passed. But no, it's revealed by the sea spirit that the deadline's passed. It's fine. Go back to camp.
So by anyone who knows this story, we're like, okay, it's over. We're done.
Yep.
It's a 6-episode series, apparently.
Because, you know, you would think that the king of the gods says, return my Master Bolt by the solstice or we go to war. You would think that war would start on, you know, immediately after the solstice. You know, possibly few hour grace period, you know, solstice. Boom, war
strikes
starts.
they're gods. First strikes are happening. Lightning's striking and waves are crashing. No, that's
exactly. But no, in the story, in the show, in the crappy story that they have set up for us, it is the deadline has passed, the solstice has passed. Now it's time to start amassing armies and getting ready for the war. It just doesn't make any sense.
Great lesson to kids. Just deadlines don't matter, guys.
Yeah, deadlines don't matter because even the ruler of the gods doesn't really mean it. So then in the show, Percy does not accept this. He says, you know, I'm gonna finish this quest. Like, that's not how these things work. Your quest was return it by the deadline. That deadline is passed. You failed the quest, which super lame. The world's been rested on your shoulders in this and you fail. He doesn't accept it, says, no, if you can help me, you have to help me. Where does that come from? She produces these 4 pearls, and in the book, it's 3 pearls. She says, what belongs to the sea will return to the sea. Use these pearls in a sticky situation. That's it. In the show, she straight up, here's 4 pearls. Use them to escape the underworld, rather than say, use these, you know, in a sticky situation and have you as the reader or the watcher go, what are they doing? Like, when are they going to use it? I hope they don't waste them. Like, how is this going to play out? Nope. Instead, it's just straight up, these will get you out of the underworld. And that's all that they do, is get you out of the underworld. She says, go save the world and then go save your mother. Weak.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know this story, just to double down on this, in the book, they have 1 day left to complete the quest, which is, again, just a feat of demigod amazingness that they, spoiler alert, barely make it.
Yep.
And that makes it the excitement. They've got 1 day to get to LA, get to the underworld, figure out this whole lightning bolt situation, maybe get his mom back, and then book it across the country in presumably less than 24 hours. Obviously knowing the whole time that Percy is not gonna want to travel by air. Yeah, the whole deadline thing was just the crux of the plot moving at the pace that it was, and now it's just over. So yeah, when we watched this, it was like, where are they going with this? How are they doing a full rewrite?
Let me touch on that a little bit. So in the book, they get out of the casino. They get onto Santa Monica. They have about 24 hours to find an entrance to the underworld, get in there, get the bolt, maybe save Percy's mom, and then book it from California to New York City with a 24-hour clock ticking. That sounds like pretty good tension to me, right? Because as you read it, again, like Nathan said, this is some crazy demigod feat to pull off. Riordan's justification for the rewrite in the show is, we have the deadline pass to create more tension. If you ask me, getting it done with minutes left and the whole time you know that the clock's ticking sounds like way more tension than just the deadline's passed, you missed it, go back to camp, it's cool.
Because never in life, for those of you that might be watching this and of a younger age, never in life are you going to have a deadline and then told the deadline's passed, but also get it to us when you can.
It's not a thing that happens. Deadlines exist because this needs done by this time or it's not good.
And as we've said before, these gods are forces of nature. Their word is not like just wishy-washy. You know, if you get it to us after the deadline, we'll go ahead and change our mind. No, it's their word becomes like, you know, Mr. D cannot drink wine because Zeus said you will not drink wine until I say otherwise. And he literally can't. He literally can't touch alcohol.
They've done nothing but butcher characters all throughout the show.
And then, yeah, 4 pearls to just give away exactly what they do and have fun. So we got any final takes, final thoughts? The show's bad, we know.
Yeah, I mean, aside from show's bad and character assassinations all the way around, like, yeah, I think we got it all out in the video.
Character assassinations, and this is the episode where they've already been rewriting the story and going their own way with it, but now they are just going the whole different direction.
Yeah.
Starting now.
Just wild rewrites in this episode. This is, again, it's been first 2 episodes, okay, fine. They're trying to condense it, they're trying to run through it, whatever. We might be able to let it slide. Episode 5, episode 6, it gets way too shaky, really starts nosediving. And in retrospect, kind of ruins any and all leeway that you give to the first episode or 2. Because nope, you weren't trying to hurry up and get going so that we can do everything that needs done. You skipped over world building, you skipped over all kinds of character development.
They ruined character development, except for they gave a ton of character development to something like Medusa, which was just a monster to behead on the way west. That's all that was. It did not have to be a whole episode. So they condensed things in the beginning, so we figured, okay, they're trying to get as close as they can and we'll give them credit. And then, no, but they're expanding episodes 3, 4, 5, and now 6.
Yep.
They've expanded these minor story bits into full episodes, introducing characters we shouldn't know yet, taking out things that need to be said, and then putting in things that we either don't need to know at all or they're so much wrong. Hence a YouTube channel. Speaking of which, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, tell us what you like, don't like, where we got it wrong, where we got it right. What else do you like to say?
Those are our impertinent insights. Go ahead and comment. Share your impertinent insights with us, or tell us why our impertinence is unfounded. I would love to hear from people that think this is a good show, because I'm going to hammer it every time. Separate it completely from the source material, and it's a bad, boring, poorly written show. If you go back and watch it in its entirety with your brain on, all kinds of just nonsense, things that don't make sense, things that you obviously know could have done better. It's bad, but that's the episode. Look forward to episode 7. It's going to be a doozy. Like everything else, it's not good. But thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.